I loved reading this news about the idea of finally getting Supreme Court reform, but I want your honest assessment. Is it too little too late for any real reform for SCOTUS?
Look, Katie, I had the same reaction you did. I think my slightly snarky piece about it was that in addition to pushing on ethics reform and term limits, we should also build the DeLorean to send it back in time, right? To do it when it would have made a difference. So I think there is a sense that, yes, this should have happened. Certainly, 4 years ago when President Biden took office and said this was a priority, he commissioned a panel to study it. And then they produced this blue ribbon report that talked about structural reform and nothing happened. So I think at one level, look, it's easy to say this is way too little, too late. We cannot close the barn door. The horse has already eaten the entire meadow. But I think that this is an important piece of signaling. And I think that for the president to run against the Supreme Court, to acknowledge that almost every piece of the mess we're in right now is a function of a loss of the court and a loss of the lower courts. I think it's an important message to send that we are now taking seriously that which we probably should have taken much more seriously 10 years ago.
You know, Dahlia, your piece noted something I thought was so important, that the United States is the only major constitutional democracy in the world that has neither a retirement age nor a fixed term limit for its high court justices. Why is the United States such an outlier when it comes to things that you would think would be so fundamental?
It's so crazy, right? That same blue ribbon commission that studied this, right, that got every big brain and threw them in a room and all these law professors and experts. And they didn't agree on much, but they did agree on the thing that you just said, which is that, no other constitutional court operates this way. And the constitutional court, the report explicitly says the United States is the only major constitutional democracy in the world that has neither a retirement age nor a fixed term limit for the high court justices. And then it goes on to say, and this is so important, among the world's democracy, 27 have term limits for their constitutional courts, and those that don't have term limits have age limits. So I think your question is exactly the right one, which is how did we get sort of enmeshed in this, what I call learned helplessness, that it has to be this way, that this is the highest, best manifestation of constitutional democracy, when every other court that has had the option to do this, lifetime tenure, impossible to remove, no ethics rules, every other court has said, no, I don't want that. So can we learn the lesson, which is that other courts, constitutional courts, rigorous constitutional courts, have not accepted that they need to live in thrall to lifetime appointments?
Dahlia, I want to backpedal for a second to the question that I had posed to you and your answer about, the horse has basically chomped up the entire meadow and maybe we could go back in time in that DeLorean. But maybe I'm being too optimistic here, but the Supreme Court takes up cases that it thinks are important, or there's certain kind of legal bases for it to take up cases. But that also provides an opportunity to make new law. And that is an opportunity to do things like maybe fix the overturning and the removal of stuff like the Chevron doctrine that happened this past term, things like Dobbs. Things that you can see the Supreme Court just gets wrong, right? So even if these changes may be a little bit later in the game, if they're made, there could be cases that make it to SCOTUS that could actually reverse the wrongdoings from the prior justices, right?
Right. And I think that if we've learned nothing else, Katie, what we've learned in the last 2 years is, I guess, precedent doesn't matter, and it's all feelings ball, and the justices can go ahead and reverse Chevron after, decades, can reverse Roe after decades, can do what they want. So if, in fact, we're living in a world where everything is reversible, doesn't it make a certain amount of sense to think about structural court reform so it could be reversed again? And I think what you're saying, and what I so fundamentally agree with, is I think we're in this moment of really deep despair, right? Everybody is so paralyzed. And I think the kind of point of this, even floating the idea of Supreme Court reform, is this is a thing that, as you said, Congress can change. There is nothing in the Constitution that says that the court is monarchic. This is a thing that very serious people are working on right now. This is a thing that if we put our shoulders to the wheel here, we can reverse.
You know, Dahlia, one thing that we know about Donald Trump is he aspires to be an authoritarian. And your piece notes that capturing an independent judiciary is one key step to ensure that an authoritarian stays in power, remains in power, and gets in power. How important, then, is November to all Americans if they want to make sure that you maintain an independent judiciary and you actually give reform a chance?
I mean, again, Katie, I think it's so important for viewers to understand that so much of what has happened that has been so discouraging, including Judge Cannon, right, tossing out the Mar-a-Lago criminal case on the flimsiest grounds that you and I have probably ever seen. All of that is a function of the judiciary, and it is the judiciary in some sense that have given kind of Donald Trump literally what feels like a get out of jail free card. So I think that in some sense the other side has been laser focused on the court for at least 5 decades, and we've been apt to say, like, oh, I care about the environment, I care about abortion, I care about voting rights, but I don't see where that has to do with structural court reform and prioritizing the court. I think we've now had kind of a bracing wake-up call that it has everything to do with who sits on not just the Supreme Court, but the Article 3 judiciary. And if we vote for no other reason, understanding, I think, that if you care about the environment or workers' rights or the ability to vote freely and fairly, every one of those things runs right through the judiciary. Donald Trump has sort of proven that. Now we have to sort of take up the mantle and say that's our fight, too.
Yeah, all roads lead back to the judiciary, which is why voting is important. Voting for who your judges are important too. Dahlia Lithwick, my friend, it's good to see you. Thanks for taking the time.